Morning, good afternoon. This is Toyin Umesiri. It's been a while. Hope your week is going really great. I also want to make sure everyone can hear me. I'm doing something different, or I'm also hosting a clubhouse today. So let's see how this goes. Wow. So good morning again, good afternoon. Today I'm talking about is your network your net worth? If you're subscribed to my newsletter, you would already have seen the newsletter that went out yesterday with the same topic. So I'm trying something different just to work on my schedule. So maybe on Mondays, I send out a newsletter. Maybe on Tuesdays, I talk about this both on Clubhouse and also online. So just always try something new. That's all what I always do because I'm trying to find ways to fit new things into my calendar. So anyway, is your network your network? If you're joining, please drop a note. Let me know where you're joining from. So basically, this is something a lot of times people talk about. Yeah, your network is your net worth. I mean, hopefully this is not your first time of hearing it, but the question is it true for you? Is it true for me, right? And I've seen people make two mistakes. One is around how they build their network, and the second thing is around how they actually, if they're able to get value from that network, right? So first of all, how are you building your network? Why are you building it? What are you building it for? Does it have a mission? Is it mission oriented, or you're just collecting people, like I like to say? So one thing is, don't just collect people, right? It's not a number, it's not a matter of the number of people that you know or knows you. It's really, do you have a network that can help you achieve your goal, right? Do you have a network that can help you move forward with what it is you're trying to do, whether in business or life, or whether it's entrepreneurship or whatever you're trying to accomplish? Do you know people that can help, that can connect you to the resources you need, or to the information you need that can help you move forward? I see Solufunke joining from Indiana. Welcome. Is this your first time? So basically, again, today I'm talking about is your network your net worth? And it's under this new series called, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, right? Peter, I see you. Thank you for joining today. I see some familiar faces as well. So, yes, network, net worth. How are you building your network? Are you investing in it? I remember one of my mentors, leaders back in corporate used to say something like, Towing, they call it networking, not net talking. He would say, people just come into my office, they just want to talk, right? Net talking, right? But the real game changer, which is what he shared, I won't put his name out there, but what he shared was that when you work with people, network is about working with people. When you work with people, you get to build trust, you get to know each other, and then you can do meaningful work together in the future. So it's not, so that's a tweetable net walking, not net talking. And the person who said this is named KP Kerry Pauline. He was the CTO, Chief Technology Officer for Walmart. I just put him out there. So anyway, networking, not net talking. Umira Chiamaka says the topic is timely. I love it. Okay, good stuff. I'm glad. And I see Feline joining on Clubhouse. Thank you for joining. So actually, Feline, I'm also hosting this on LinkedIn Live. So if you want to watch me, great. But I find out Clubhouse is amazing. You know why? We can have a conversation. It can be a two-way conversation, and Feline can join the stage as well and get involved. So I'm trying something super new this week. Those who follow me on LinkedIn, you're already used to me going live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and all of that. But I've over the last couple of weeks, as I've spent significant time on Clubhouse. Why? Because I also want to learn that app. I've been engaging with people there. I even hosted like a 10-day session, and it was quite transformative and very deep connection. Why? Because Clubhouse allowed you to have a two-way conversation. Like now, I'm just broadcasting on other channels, but on Clubhouse, we can actually dig deeper. Again, I'm just trying new things. Guess where I learned this? Yesterday, someone was interviewing the CEO or the co-founder of Clubhouse, and I saw them do this. I was like, If he can do this, then surely I can learn from them. So I think Adweek or an agency was interviewing him. So it was a video interview on YouTube, but they also connected on Clubhouse. And I joined via Clubhouse only for me to realize, oh, we can do this. So that's what I'm testing out today. So anyway, today's topic is your network, your net worth. I started out by saying, guess what? How are you building your network? One of the things I say is that your net worth, the reason it's connected to your net worth is because what value is your network holding? Just like a bank. Think of a bank. A bank is a building. You can easily call it a regular building, right? Building is a building, but the only reason you call it a bank is because it holds value. It's because it holds precious metals like gold and cash and chiching. That's the only difference, right? So if you were to remove the sign bank and strip that bank from its signage, well, guess what? It's just another building. So, yes, your networks are not equal. So, a network, right, is supposed to hold valuable people that can help you achieve your goal. Again, a network, your network is supposed to hold valuable resources, people that can connect you to resources, information, all of those things that can help you advance whatever it is you're trying to advance. I hope you know that, because I see people collecting people. But can you call them? If you call them, would they move for you? Would you move for them? Right? The people that you know and the people that know you, if you wanted information or something that will get you closer to your goal, can you pick your phone or email? Would they respond? And if those people reach out to you, would you respond? That's what it means about the quality of your network. The quality. It's not about quantity, it's about quality, right? And the other thing I say is like social media is fantastic, but because there is no barrier to entry, you meet everybody, you connect with everybody, right? But the key thing is you now have to employ your own filter criteria. You have to employ your own filter criteria based on your own standards to determine who you want to include in your, whether it's professional network, whether it's religious, I don't know. You get to decide what it is you're trying to do, right? So let's stick with professional, right? Just because we say hello hi on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever platform, you have to know, based on your own standards and your entry criteria, what kinds of people do you want to include in your network. So you have to have a filter. If you don't have a filter, big one, red flag. You have to have a filter. And that filter should be based on ultimately what you want to achieve for yourself. Otherwise, right? Okay, so let me break it down. You want to think about three groups of network, right? People you want to invest in, right? And I see people mix this all up. So let me try and break it down. There are people you're investing in, because I see people mistake different groups of people. They kind of mismanage those relationships. So there are people you're investing in, right? If you're a leader, there's your team member or your followers. If you're an influencer online, you get my point, right? You're pouring into them, you're investing in them, you're growing them, you're sharing with them, right? Don't mistake that group for, say, your peer group or people that can invest in you. So so one group is you're pouring into them. You better have coach and sponsors and mentors that are also investing in you. So if you're committed to investing in other people, you need to also invest in finding people that will invest in you. You either pay coach or you have to, otherwise you're going to run on empty, right? Because there are more takers in the world than givers. I say it as it is. You find quickly that there are more takers than givers in the world. So if you are a giver, you don't want to run empty. You need to find ways of filling up yourself, because you can't give what you don't have, right? So you have to find ways of investing in yourself, personal development, whether books, coaching, events, professional development activities that you're involved in, so that you can keep growing as well. Otherwise, you stay stagnant. Okay. So that's one group. Then you also want your peer group, right? A network of peer groups where you can share resources, you can share information like best practices for your industry, right? Your colleagues. Here's the kicker. Sometimes people mix people that can invest in you, you think they're your peers. Guess what? Nothing will flow from them to you because you've put them in the wrong category. The same thing is true where people need you and you think you need them. And it's like what they say, you're backing up the wrong tree, or you're squeezing an orange that has nothing for you. You may find yourself in a community where they are hungry for what you have, and you think that community is going to serve you. Well, nothing. This is where your own judgment has to kick in, right? Your judgment has to kick in, because I find sometimes you mistake the people that can serve you with people you can serve. You miss people that are higher up than you that can pour into you. You mistake them for your peers and you want to rub shoulders with them. Guess what? The dimension of grace that they need to pour into you, it's there. You've shut it off, right? Because you're treating them as your peers instead of your instructor or your coach or your mentor. And there are also cultural things that people have, where it's like cultural barriers, where they think they use age or gender as a criteria, where sometimes there are some men that cannot get value from women. There's some women, you get what I'm saying. I don't, let me know, let me you think you I think you get the point. So there are ways, particularly in my faith, right? Christian religion, if you know God, the way he wants to speak to you, if he can use a donkey, right? Sometimes it may not fall into your criteria. So you also have to balance these things out, where there are certain knowledge, resources, information that you need to advance your goals that might reside in certain communities or spaces where you've like discounted, like, there's nothing there, right? So just be aware as well that, again, from a spiritual principle standpoint, right? You never know who God wants to use to bless you. But I find that sometimes people use some certain criteria that doesn't work. But anyway, again, I'm just giving you a framework that you can use, right? And so continue to invest in yourself. I think at the end of the day, what I'm doing here is you put yourself in the center, put yourself in the driver's seat, and make sure this is where your own self-interest is important. Because I see a lot of times people you make yourself a sacrificial lamb. The world will skin you and move on to the next person, right? Because we all love free. Most of us are takers, right? Not givers. But I coach people to be givers, because the world opens incredible opportunities for givers as well. But don't make yourself the sacrificial lamb. Jesus is the only way. He has done that for us anyway. I'm trying to be funny, but I hope you get it, because I see a lot of people in the community sacrifice themselves without getting value in return, which is the second part of when you build a strong network. Also know how to extract value, give value to it, but also extract value. And I think that's where women shake in terms of men don't care. They're like, I want that, give me this, right? Blah blah blah. And they use their network to advance themselves. And women, a lot of times, the word use is seen through a negative light. I don't. Because again, when you are bringing value into the world, when you are creating value, when you are creating something bigger than yourself, other people want to be a part of it. It is an honor for other people to be part of what it is you're doing. But if you're trying to build your own castle, then nobody's ready to help you do that. But if you're trying, like what the work that I do, if we are trying to build something massive that transforms landscapes, that has global impact, then absolutely people are happy to come on board. People are happy to support. People are happy to be a part of it. Guess what? Because it also contributes to their own goal, right? So that's why when you use the word use, some people see it negatively, but guess what? Let's all It's about networking. We're working with one another. We're contributing our intelligence, our network, our resources for the greater good of the community or the world, right? And then guess what? When we do the work, we get to bear the benefits of it. He who does the work, a laborer is worthy. So if you've worked, right? If you're bringing value to the world, then you deserve the rewards. When you think about people like, those that you know out there, they're creating incredible value. So they are becoming billionaire, whatever. Yeah, the world rewards people that ultimately creates value, whether it's the Google of the world or Microsoft and all of those people, right? So be the Microsoft, creating meaningful value in the world, and guess what? Invite other people to be a part of that journey. So that's really, in a nutshell, what I wanted to talk about. My one-on-one, I go deeper dive just to help people assess, because there's a strategy to all of these things. Because if you don't have a strategy, guess what? You may be investing your time in places that you shouldn't be, right? There are so many things, there are so many places I you won't find me. There's so many places you're not going to find me. Why? Because I've just decided, that's not it for me. Each person gets to decide. You have to decide where you're going, what do you need to achieve, and your network could be different. You could build multiple network for different things. So for example, I have 360 women ministry. I have a faith-based space that I've created. I have entrepreneurship space that I've created. I also have global trade with Africa platforms that I've created, right? Because my needs per time is different. And sometimes those network, they do not cross over. So my business network may not cross over to my spiritual space of talking about faith and all of this. They may not cross over. So for me, I actually invest in building it. Like, it doesn't just happen. So let me even wrap up with that. Sometimes people think that what they need, if it doesn't happen, nobody's going to build your network for you. Don't fall into the default by default, right? No, 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 nothing. You have to be strategic, you have to be creative, you have to be deliberate what you want and what you need, and it's based on your need. So if you need, say for example, I remember, so when I was in corporate, I used to lead women's resource council, working women at Walmart, like, just the passion, right? Where it's about advocacy, women group advocacy with HR, like making Walmart the best place for women to work. And then when I became an entrepreneur, that was one of the things that I took to the backseat. I didn't have time for that, right? The first couple of years of grinding and trying to build Nazaru and my platforms and my business, right? I didn't have time for those social functions, right? And then when 2020 happened, right? Just like you all, we all needed community. I missed community so much. And for me, sometimes a lot of people wait. I don't wait for things I don't just wait. I know enough not to wait for things to happen. So I ended up recreating a space under the 360 woman group, and we meet, we talk about life, because it's part of my well-being. Like, I enjoy those spaces. It enriches me, it helps me to become the 360 woman, right? Where it's not just, people talk about work-life balance. I know what it is to just, ambitious, blah blah blah. But part of my own self-awareness is that there's a part of me that really really desperately needs other women, that we can talk about life, we can exchange notes, right? We can challenge each other, we can encourage each other, we can pray for each other, we can think about life and get better at it. So instead of me waiting for somebody else to do it, I ended up creating that space for us. And and it's a global space. People, Canada, different parts, we meet, chill, talk, pray, we just talk about, art stuff. Again, it's a network of women, faith-based women, that I can call and say, hey, how are you doing today? Oh, it's my birthday, happy birthday, right? We need that. I needed that. You may not, but I needed that, and I created it for myself. The same thing is true when it comes to professionals like Trade with Africa. I'm good with, I know how to do my own thing, right? But I also realize, in advancing trade and investment on the continent, many people, they need the network, but they don't know how to build it. So we built Nazari Trade with Africa platforms based on the events that I host and all of those things. So people plug in. It's like you plug in through your payment. You plug in to join that network, and immediately you're exposed to government, stakeholders, businesses. You're exposed to my classes, training, anything, all that. Let me quickly share that. It's nazaru.trade. That's where that network is, where my classes are. The community is keeps growing, but it's a high network, right? Based, if you're looking to advance trade with Africa, that's the space for you. So anyway, so for me, it's about creating spaces that helps me achieve my goal. So yes, think about yourself, put on your own mask before you start solving for other people. So that's why this is extremely, extremely important, right? So that's where I would stop. Any questions for today? Again, I'm trying something super new. I'm streaming live, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook as well. Yeah, the video will be out there, and I have Clubhouse active as well. I didn't ping anybody in today because I just wanted to test this out, and then maybe next week I'll do it again. But that when I'm doing it next week, I'll ping and invite more people, and I can announce it better. So this is just a test for me today. So Peter, thank you again for joining. Olufunke, Feline, I see you on Clubhouse. If you want to come up and just ask any question, great. If not, that's fine. I also see Chiamaka. Thank you again for joining. So that's it for today. I always want to keep the discussion really not too long. Just I see 20 minutes, which is great. I always try to keep maybe 30 minutes. And if you have any other questions, okay, Feline is coming up. Awesome. How are you today? Let's make sure this is working. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Miss Toyin. Thank you so much. I
Oh,
always receive value from you every time you speak. Listen, at any table where you
oh,
are sitting, I want to be there.
oh, thank you. Please, what do you think so far?
Well, the part that I definitely wrote down and know that I will share it with my own team and peers before the end of the day has to do with the three groups: people
Mm,
you're investing in, your peer group, and those who are investing in you, your mentors and coaches.
mm,
Uh, my thing is always finding the peer group. I have
mm,
multiple peer groups, but the the thing is time and finding out how other, there's this new phrase where they call multi hyphenates, and I fit into that box of many boxes.
mm,
And so it's always a it's always a thing because we tend to be so busy.
mm,
So I don't get to sit down and or just really what we call whole long bench in the
mm,
Caribbean, which is, sit down and talk at length with folks who are in my peer group.
mm,
So that is always where I find myself feeling quite alone in
mm,
certain journeys that I'm taking. So I like that framework, the way that you put it, for me to be more strategic about when I'm networking, which category of people I will be networking with in order
mm,
to balance off the the type of networks that I'm building.
mm. Wow.
So thank you.
So, okay, this is very good. One of the things I say is be mission driven. So, a lot of times we know a lot of people, and a lot of people know us. But because it's like my mentors talked about networking, not net talking, many people just want to talk, and that's fine. But if what you want to do now, this is based on you ultimately, like what game changing project or initiative do you want to drive, right? Because otherwise, you're all just talking, even if you have the quality of people. So for me, being mission oriented allow so for example, and I was going to share some updates, like, so for example, now my next event is Nigeria Investment Conference. Okay, so I'm putting my network to serious work right now, because come December 4th, I'm hosting a global summit of government stakeholders and business community. So there's a mission. What does that mean? Hey, so all of the people, quote and unquote, the investments have been making in building strong network. This is when you know if it's going to work or not. You see what I'm saying? All of the social media and community building that I invest to build and serve, times like this is when you test out the strength of your network. Okay, I need minister, I need investments, this, I need key stakeholders, this. Can my network pull those things off for me? That's what I mean by mission. Because if you don't have missions like this that is bigger than you, then you can't test the strength of your network, right? Like someone called me yesterday, government called me yesterday, officials like, Toyin, oh, I see this. I'm like, yeah, this. And they were like, oh, do you know they've just appointed this person? I was like, really? I didn't know that. Yes, he sent me the flyer as we were talking. I was like, interesting. This person is relevant. He said, yes, this is the person's phone number. You send him an invitation. He needs to be there. I'm like, thank you. Mission. They know my mission. They know what it is I'm trying to pull off. And guess what? They are throwing their weight behind it. And they are giving me numbers, and they're like giving me stuff, good stuff, quality stuff. That's what I mean. Right? When you need to pull something off, whether it's business, whether it's this, would your network support you? Not just support you with their mouth. Hey, good job. I like, on social media, like is great. The share is good, but there is greater value than all the work that I do, the reason I do it and it's successful, you can bet that people are moving for me. Let me give another example. 2018, right? One of our key speakers was the former CEO of Tyson Foods, right, Donny Smith. And he said, Tony, you need to get an economist to come to your event. I was like, where do I get an economist, right? But once I called one person, they pulled it out for me. So so Feline, that's what I mean, particularly when I hear what people want to do. If you want to do big stuff, then you need big network. Then you need to be strategic, who you're including, and not just randomly including people that would not do anything, or and it's mutual. So here's the thing as well. The same people that move for me, they know, and they do pull me, and they call me, right, Toyin, we need ABCD for you, from you. And guess what? I will move for them as well. So that's, I'm just trying to be as practical as possible. So, because otherwise we're just collecting people. And that's fine. Why is it fine? Because most of the people you may have around you may be people you need to invest yourself in, right? And that's okay, because I mean, just like I'm going live right now, I'm investing myself, I'm sharing. I also do personal coaching, because that group of people is also beneficial and rewarding for the work that I'm doing. So I'm contributing to certain people. But the reason that framework is important, right, is if that is all I do, if all I do is show up and pour, you have to have that peer group and superior people that can invest and put things on your table and give you information. Like just last night, an information that was actually critical to the work I was doing with my event. I did not know that in the last 2-3 weeks, the president of Nigeria had shifted and switched out and appointed a new person. So my old contact was no longer relevant, but they gave me the number of the new person now. So anyway, Feline, what do you think about that?
Yes, Ms. Toyin, I definitely agree with you on those fronts. About 2 years ago, I embarked upon a journey of filmmaking, and my writing life has been was up until that point poetry and short stories. And so I converted one of my short stories into a screenplay. And from then on, each step I was faithful, and I was able to get the funding to create a film.
Wow.
Now, for years, I have been just, fully myself. Like I said, I'm a multi hyphenate. I have influence in the culture space. I have influence in libraries, of course, as a creator. And then now all of a sudden I'm in film. I know no one. So of course, I called the persons I know who are into theater. I'm in Belize. So in Belize, we don't have that much of a film industry. The people who are doing film are people who are working for the news, different media. There are some folks who are working in tourism, but it's not they're hard to find, and even harder are people within my ethnic group. So the film is in my language and it's about our story. So boom, I call folks and they are busy. Their hands are full.
I know.
They too, you see. And then of course it's during COVID. So who wants to put themselves at risk by filming a movie with people that, there's a lot there. But it's exactly what you said. Will people show up for you?
Right, right.
And so those are the folks I reached out to, and gladly they said yes. Awesome. And there were some folks who weren't even available, but they made themselves available.
Nice.
Based on either my weight or the weight of the people I had recruited to assist with the film, the producer, the DP, etc., etc. So I definitely learned that, I knew that from before, but it was just really immediate for me that if I step into another industry and wear a different hat, I can also excel then based on the network I've built. Now, boom, I'm here on Clubhouse. On Clubhouse, first of all, I'm not a fan of social media. That's just it. It's just, to me, it's a fire hose. It's a rabbit hole. There's a lot going on. It's too busy. And so on Instagram, I follow 200 people, and I could literally tell you the birthdays. I could tell you the likes and the dislikes of my 200, and that's just that's how I move. That's what I prefer. Now on here on Clubhouse, I find myself with 1.3 thousand, or 1.3 thousand. So
how do you get to know them? Wow. So
right.
Wow.
So I'm slowly cutting down to say, okay, because for example, there's someone I pinged in here. Alexis is, awesome woman, but I would love to be able to have to know the others as well as I know Alexis in a way that, I know that she would be here when I ping her, because she knows that when I ping her, it's something that I know that she likes. But for about, I would say I know maybe about 500 people, I can say, yes, I know what they like. I remember what rooms I met them in, what they said that stood out, etc. But the other folks, I don't know. But I know that I must have found some value in who they are or what they were about, or there was some reason why I chose to follow them.
Okay.
And
so there's something else you might need to work on. So what I'll call is maybe your circle of, so just from hearing you, I'm very different from you. Okay. So you also want to look at your circle, right? Your inner circle, your outer circle, for each of those network, right? Because again, I'm just sharing my own experiences, that depending on your source of energy for yourself, right? Some relationship might drain you, some might feed you. Just again, this is about individual judgment and awareness of your own strength. So when I do coaching, like I help people say, okay, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? Even in networking and relationship building, it gets deeper and it has to be personalized, because I recognize that some people, even on Saturday, I had there was a podcast interview. I was interviewed on a podcast, and even after that interview, the person who interviewed me was asking for more of me, which I know I'm not able to give. So one of the ways I try to give more of me is going live like this. I can commit 30 minutes, 45 minutes and pour out, enrich life and walk away. Why? Because in my own personal spaces, I love my private life. Again, I'm just being very transparent, because some people might fall into that category, some people may not. So what I do is that I curate spaces and platforms where I can show up, deliver value, get value, and run back into my own cocoon of a private space where I enjoy being. Right. So I'm more of a blend between extroverts. So I'm extrovert, I'm functioning, I function very, very well in terms of driving a point and engaging with people and leading a team, and I'm good. But in my thinking spaces where I'm most creative, 100% solo. Like me, myself, and I is my best creative space. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is that some people drain themselves because they don't understand what their own being, what their own, they're not because at the end of the day, personal development, human performance, if you want to perform at your most optimal level, if you want to be most productive, so let's say in the agricultural terms, if you're grapes, if you're how you tend grapes is different from orange, is different from apple, is different from corn, right? You need to be intimately aware in terms of what makes you thrive. Some people, it's like 100%. I want to be in the midst of people. I enjoy being with people. And that's fantastic. Then do that because you derive your energy from it. But for me, so the reason I'm sharing this example with other people listening is even when you're building your network, make sure it's fits into your needs. So that when you say, that's why I said that inner circle, the outer circle, and determining what you feel comfortable investing in each space. That's also why I launched my coaching side, because I know the impact I have on people as a collective group coaching. And I also know the depth of impact and transformative effect I have one-on-one on people. And by end of last year, I started feeling in my heart, again, my spirit, I can put that out there, that I needed to make room on my calendar for more people, meaning I needed to be giving people more of me. It was a struggle. I'm being honest because again, I'm coming from my own. I love me, myself, and I function really well. But I felt a shift in how I needed to show up, that I needed to um share more of my thoughts, my insights. I needed to invest more in other people. So I've been speaking more, I've been teaching classes more, master classes, workshop. Why? Because of that demand. But again, I'm still very protective of my space. And that's why what I now do is, if you want coaching, full one-on-one towing, yeah, I have a program for that. If you want to be in the group session, I have a program for that. If you want to hear from me, whether I'm speaking at an event or on a podcast or live series like this or on Clubhouse, I've put those things in my calendar, right? And then I write newsletter. So on Monday I do this, on Tuesdays I do this. Then these days are blocked. And then once a month in Trade with Africa's platform, I teach a major class for 3 hours, right? So that's just I'm just sharing this because of what you said, Feline, is that there are actually practical things you can do. Because again, when you start collecting people, like you said, social media is fantastic, right? But it can drain you. So if you don't find a way of pulling yourself back and feeding yourself and nourishing your own soul, whether we're talking to coaches or sponsors, you will get burnt out. And you've heard the story, even from having been on Clubhouse just a while. I just joined in May, but I've heard so many stories of people saying they shut down Clubhouse, and why? Because they came in too heavy. They gave too much and got little, and that's why I'm sharing this thing, that it's real life. This is real life. Social media would suck you, right? I'm just being transparent, right? That's why I'm showing up in this dimension, because for me, I show up in measured ways. I show up in measured ways. Why? Because I have to take care of me first. And because I understand what enriches me and the types of conversations I want to curate. That's why I host events. Events are the big bang, because my events, people don't stumble into my events. It's not an event you stumble into. There are certain types of people that show up to that event. And because those conversations cannot happen on social media, right? If you've heard me say this before, it's like we operate like an elevator. People at the penthouse, middle floor, ground floor. That's the way the work on Nazaru. And we do certain things. when we want to engage with people at the penthouse, they are not on social media, right? Ambassadors, investment officers of government, trade ministers, they're not on social media. You can't talk to them on social media at all, zero, right? So for me, part of our networking and our engagement, we curate spaces, events, engagement where we can engage with them one on one at the deeper, most meaningful level, and then we transform. That's economic development. So I guess I know I said a lot. All I'm saying is that social media is not the only strategy, okay, based on whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But a lot of times people spend 100% of their time on social media and they're like, why is this not working? Why? Because depending on what it is you're trying to achieve and the level that you want to operate at, you have to apply the right marketing or engagement strategy. And that's why there are premium spaces that you may need to subscribe to, associations, chamber of commerce, because the serious again, I'm just having to share this publicly, is that certain level of conversations do not happen on social media. If you're operating B2C, B2B, or B2G, the spaces where those things happen, you need to find your way to those spaces. That's really the assignment people have. If you want to build a network and you want to build relationship with, say, key government official, forget social media. It's not happening on social media, right? You need to go to investment summits because that's where they show up. They don't show, they're not going to like your comment, they're not going to follow you, they're not going to DM you. I have investors that they don't even have social media accounts. You can find them there. So anyway, I know I just broadened that conversation, hopefully for people who would rewatch this as well, to be able to understand that when you're building your network, okay, don't just do what everybody is doing, because everybody says post, be more strategic. Have a mission. What are you trying to achieve? What do you need in your network to be able to achieve? What types of relationships do you want to build? And then build your strategy around that. Otherwise, I see people doing, you know, because I have a programming background, platforms are great. Clubhouse is great, LinkedIn is great, Instagram, they're all fantastic. Like, I appreciate it. But they've not done the work of filtering for us. We have to do that ourselves. And you can't outsource that responsibility, right? You have to be strategic. So let me stop there. I know I said a lot, but I just want to gain reaction, and I see more people joining. Thank you so much for everyone joining. Nancy, good to see you. Fred, Lita, Adwar, Alexis, thank you for joining. And for those watching as well, thank you so much. Feline, what do you think about what I just shared now?
Miss Toyin, as I said when I first stepped up here, I said, any table where you are sitting, I want to be there. And you made several points that stood out, but especially a point you are reiterating, which is that point about the filter and how that's not something we can outsource. And of course, that part about the inner circle, the outer circle, and self-awareness when it comes to what charges you and what depletes you. So those things, yeah, that is work, and that
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
constant.
Right.
And so definitely, I know that I've done it well when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to Instagram, done it well. But I'm just now getting here for, and honestly, I, there's a Black LinkedIn is thriving group on Clubhouse. Every now and again, I go in this space. I've connected with some really awesome people there, but I'm honestly not on LinkedIn. It's a deliberate choice I've made.
LinkedIn,
I
well, you may be missing out on LinkedIn.
believe me, I know. I was in college when LinkedIn first started up, and I started and opened an account. The same with Twitter, but in Belize, it's a developing country. A lot of people weren't there. There's a lot going on, but the point is that I deliberately did not step into it. The same with Twitter. See, I've kept my engagement there just as is, which is I post when I go to different meetings and conferences. Prior to Corona, I would tweet out, and I have a non-attachment type of energy around it. now with LinkedIn as well, that to me is energy out. And it's time to be reading certain things that I similar to you, your approach, which is very much, I will engage and I will engage, let's say, for this certain amount of time, and then I will retreat. So that's an approach that works well. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm in my office. I'm editing some records, so I kind of use Clubhouse like a radio, you know.
Mm.
So that is why Clubhouse works for me. But again, read people's profiles. I'm like, oh, this person is cool, and they said such and such, and I connect with it, and boom. But I
Mm.
would want to be more deliberate when it comes to that filter, and that is my next phase when it comes to Clubhouse. Is okay. Let me follow less people, and let me kind of start to
But
unfollow
you can
certain
follow
people.
more. So the key is you need different people for different things. So you but put them in the right bucket.
Yes, I
So
hear
for
you.
example, as a leader in your community, one of the things from an entrepreneur, even the mindset of an entrepreneur, not everybody is going to buy from you. If you have a service or a product you're selling, not everybody is going to buy from you. That's fine. But your story and your experience can serve as inspiration to those people coming behind you. And if you're someone like me that you take that seriously, okay, what are you going to do about that? Right? That's a question. So even in my strategy, so it's almost like you need to keep growing your influence. So don't reduce your I'm not everything I'm saying today is not reducing your influence. It's more of being strategic in terms of where you're applying your time and how you're building your network and why, for what. That's what today is about, because you need to keep growing your influence. Okay? Influence is power. When you have a key message that you want to deliver to the world, when you want to bring about transformation, right? When you want to, in a way, quote and unquote, change the world, right? Part of your power is the influence you have. And the influence you have would achieve different things on different groups of people, which is why I'm saying you need to invest in followers, people that can learn from your experience, people that you can grow, people that you can inspire. They abound on social media. That's what primarily a lot of the things social media is for us, is that we're leading an industry, we created it from scratch, we're leading, we're mobilizing, we're educating, we're inspiring. If that's your mission, fantastic. But if that is all you do, you're going to run dry. I'm speaking by experience. So, because of that, you need to flock with a peer group that is strong and doing great things like you are. And your mindset is you're thinking alike. This has nothing to do with age because, yeah, right? It has to do with mindset. Do we believe the same things? Are we moving in the right direction? And those groups of people, you can share best practices. In fact, you can do meaningful work together because you see the world similarly and you know what it takes, and you know how you all can look each other in the eye and say, it's not easy. Oh," and you can say, yeah, it's not easy, oh, but we're flocking. Let's flock and make some amplify our voices together. That's what I mean. Is that just think about the eagle. You flock together. Mistakes people make is that you're an eagle. You think you insert yourself in spaces of quote and unquote chicken, and you are complaining why they are not flying at your height. Come on, right? That's part of why this is important, is because we plug ourselves in spaces, and then we many people now start complaining like, why are people talking this way? Why you are in the wrong room, or you should be having a different conversation in that room. You should be inspiring them, coaching them, guiding them, because they're not where you are. But again, people mistake those two things. and they get frustrated because they're showing up in spaces and dimension that they're supposed to be serving those people and they expect those people to serve them. Well, it doesn't happen that way. Now, the next third level is places you can run to when you need fresh perspective, when you need to see the world differently, when you're feeling empty, when you're feeling like there could be a better way of pulling this thing off. You need to have people and spaces. If you need to pay. The biggest people in the world, they have coaches, multiple coaches for different things, whether it's their health, their fitness, their mind, mental space. You need that to be performing at the most optimum level, right? So you need places, whether it's your relationship, anything that helps you gain a new perspective on life, that enriches you, that educates you, that inspires you, that helps you keep moving to the next level. Because the moment you stop investing in that third group, guess what? You've plateaued. Like, because the more we know, the more we can do, right? The more the way we see the world is how we're showing up every single day. So anybody that wants to go to the next level, guess what? Go to school, learn something new, read a new book, get in the midst of certain people that have achieved what it is you're trying to achieve, and all of a sudden they enlighten you. You see the world through new lights, and that's growth, right? You can be pruned. There's certain behavior you can get rid of. You can become better, because we all have to be improving. Like, if the day I can't stop improving, I have to continue being hungry to keep moving to the next level, to keep learning. So I show up in different spaces to learn what the quote and unquote followers need. Because when I'm when I'm designing my classes, master classes, I'm not designing it in vacuum. I'm designing it for a group of people based on what it is I'm hearing they want to achieve and they need. So, entrepreneurship classes, export classes, trade and investment facilitation. Why? I designed it for the community because they need it. What it might take them, or it took me 3, 4, 5 years to learn, or the experience I've had in global implementations, or with Walmart, or global, right? I can package it in courses, I can package it in my coaching program, deliver it to them. But it is to a certain type of person. So that's all I'm trying to, and thank you, Feline, for this exchange. This is why I actually love Clubhouse, because I might come to the room, to the space with one mindset, but based on the conversations I have, I can now dig deeper. So you've actually made this conversation richer because of your own journey as well. So thank you. And I see anybody else wants to come up, because I'm looking at time. And that's one other thing with Clubhouse, right? You can't do 30 minutes on Clubhouse. I do 30 minutes, 20 minutes on, or even 50. I've done 50 minutes. I just put my things out there and I run away. Clubhouse is where you can't do that, because it's a conversation, it's deeper, it's way, way, way deeper as well. So yes, anything else that I can help with before I close today's session out? This was good. I think this is the way for me to go. I'll watch this recording and make sure the sound is optimum, and then adjust it. Okay, I see. um Adwa, welcome to the stage. How are you doing today? Thank you so much. Any questions from you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Cyan. It's an interesting conversation. Me, myself, I'm a networker, but interestingly, I haven't really been engaging much with LinkedIn until recently. So I see you do LinkedIn Live, and I'm just wondering if you can give me like maybe top 5 tips of how to get the most out of LinkedIn. For somebody like myself, that actually I organize networking events that I bring together like-minded entrepreneurs and professionals, specifically within the Ghanaian community in the UK. So it would be nice for you to share some tips.
Fantastic. You're asking the right person. I think I think I'm a LinkedIn's rock star. Okay. Okay. I give myself titles, even if nobody gives me some. Anyway. And welcome to the stage, Alexis, as well. So let me quickly answer Adwa. Did I say your name well? Adwa?
Yes, yes, very good.
Oh,
Ajua, very good.
okay,
Thank
Adua.
you.
Okay, so when it comes to LinkedIn, people generally gather around conversations. So LinkedIn is actually more about the conversation you can ignite, because that's what would attract the people to you. Because what happens is when you activate a type of conversation, the power of LinkedIn is because your first connection, if they like what they're hearing and they engage with your content, they are actually exposing you to their own first connection, which is your second and third connection. So that's why that's actually what is most powerful about LinkedIn. Instagram doesn't offer you this. Facebook not too much. But the moment you can start a conversation within your own immediate network, and then your network really likes it, the moment they engage, when they like or comment on that conversation, their own network will see their comment or their like, and they will come and check it out. So they are actually opening up their own network to you. So conversation is what I want you to think about. What conversation are you going to start? And don't go, you don't even need to go look for people. Start with the people you already have. Start a conversation that you want to drive, and immediately you start those conversations, naturally people will be attracted to that conversation, right? So you want to be known for something on LinkedIn, right? Other than your resume, your profile, right? Your page. If you don't put content out there, people just say, okay, I know you, you work at this person. That's all they know about you. But your conversation and the insights you share on LinkedIn is actually what helps people get to know what you care about. And if what you care about is the same thing they care about, then that's where that deeper conversations and discussions can happen. Now, when it comes to LinkedIn Live, before you even do LinkedIn Live, get um get more comfortable with video in general, right? Because LinkedIn Live is not forgiven. What it means is your life. If you're not comfortable being live in terms of discussing and engaging with people, it takes time to get comfortable. So that's what I'm telling you, my own journey. So I spent more than 2 years, doing all kinds of different random videos. In fact, the first place where I started live was on Facebook. So if you're going to do live at all, start on Facebook, learn it on Facebook, because Facebook is it's more forgiving. Like it's less formal. It's less because the moment you come on LinkedIn, game on, right? You have to be on point. You have to be very professional. Your lighting needs to be perfect. Your voice, your audio needs to be on point, because it's a brand image as well. So for me, even before I came into LinkedIn Live, I had spent time on Facebook. I don't do it as much as before, because now I multi stream, right? So I started on Facebook. That was where I learned to fail. you know, when people give me feedback, Toyi, we can't hear you. Say that again, right? My lighting was poor, and people were very forgiving on Facebook. And then I matured from going live native to the Facebook platform. That's when I then matured slowly and slowly and slowly. And then I did interview series, I did different things on LinkedIn. Did that help, Adwa? Did that
Yeah,
help?
that's perfect. That's really good. That's really good. What the follow-up question would be, you said, can you give an example of the type of conversation? So let's say even with yourself, your area of expertise, what type of conversations do you normally start on LinkedIn, and how do you frame it?
Okay, so for me, I'm naturally big on inspiration. And in a very funny way, sometimes LinkedIn can it's almost like a mini diary for me, because I'm a writer. I write, I think, I'm a very deep thinker, and there are some thoughts that will just flash in my mind, you know. And because again, I'm now very, very savvy with LinkedIn, and my people know me, right? Like over time, they get to know you. So this is something that I've grown over the years, and people come to me for this kind of inspiration, right? Like, you know, maybe it could be what did I like mindset, like last week I think I shared something like, I'm watching you all, there's some bad behavior in terms of what people are doing that may be impacting their own success journey. Like I think I shared something like, yeah, there were 5 things I can't even remember now, because in that moment I have something to share that I know would help them, that is in my own mind, something I have observed in the community. And I'm saying, hey, have you also observed this? Let's fix this. There are also content I share around my work, like trade and investment facilitation with Africa. I host global summits. I teach entrepreneurship. So I share things around entrepreneurship mindset, export development. I host government as well. So I'm constantly sharing that. Then I also have a newsletter that's more than maybe 27,000 people subscribe to, even on LinkedIn. And it's centered around 3 things: trade with Africa, conversations, entrepreneurship, and then also personal development, right? So those are the 3 types of conversations I think people stay around me for. And those things change and shift over time. That even maybe 2 weeks ago, I conducted a survey on LinkedIn, because I'm constantly also evaluating the content I want to bring to LinkedIn and other spaces. Because again, I I value my time, I value other people's time. If I'm going to commit 30 minutes, an hour every week, I want to make sure that I plan and I bring something of value to the community. So I did a survey, and those were the 3 things as well: trade with Africa, because I'm known in that space to be leading that space; personal development, so success insights, mindset shifts, and then also entrepreneurship. How do you build a business? How do you scale, right? How do you design your business? How do you connect with your customers? How do you get design your marketing plan? So those are the things that I'm known for. And inspiration, I'm big on inspiration. And like I said, because I write, I wake up in the morning, I have a thought that just flashed in my mind. In the past, I might take a pen and paper and write it in my diary, but sometimes LinkedIn, they take me as I am. I just share that stuff, like, leadership thoughts and personal stuff, and people engage, and they're like, oh, interesting, right? And so it has to be you, right? People just want you. Like, what do you feel comfortable sharing? What lessons have you learned, like, in your own practice, that you think other people would care about? And I'll tell you this: if you're such person, LinkedIn is more for you than Instagram. Instagram is something I've been learning in recent months. I've been spending more time there. Instagram is very heavy on visual, like look, feel, like exotic this, exotic that, and that, right? But if you're a deep thinker, and you want to inspire people to think, and you want to take them on that journey, like thoughts leadership, LinkedIn is that space. Not that Instagram doesn't offer you that opportunity, but the way you carry people along with Instagram is through pictures and videos and visual stuff. And when they like how it looks, then they will listen. They have to like how it looks before they listen to you on Instagram. At least I'm learning that. But LinkedIn is more of how it resonates and connects with their spirit and their hearts. And that's what people follow on. People are very hungry for deep stuff on LinkedIn. That's, at least that's my experience. So I find my space there. I feel very much at home on LinkedIn, because I'm too serious for some people. Okay, did that help?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Really, really great insight.
Yes, yes. And the thing with LinkedIn is why I found people shy away is you do have to be professional, because it's your ultimate brand. It's like
Yeah, but why? I think, to be honest, I think that professionalism, I think sometimes a bit of pretense, and I just think that you've made a very valid point, as in just be yourself. Of course, don't do stuff that you wouldn't want to do in a professional environment. But I just think that sometimes a bit pretense. I mean, I added some people on LinkedIn, and somebody messaged me and said, hello, Mrs. Ajima, and I'm like, really? Just hello, Ajo is fine. And I'm so I'm not too sure why why we have that with
No,
links.
well,
Maybe you could.
it's okay. It's so for me. So I operate in different dimensions. Like I host events with government ambassadors, and I use when I approach them, I use different terms that I will not use on the streets. So you also have to know where that person is coming from, right? Because your own reality, your
Okay.
own space could be different from their own space, right? Their own cultural. So for me, as example, I worked for Fortune One, right? I spent years in corporate America, right? More than a decade. I worked for the world's largest company and I operated at a certain level of excellence, right? So coming out into the world of entrepreneurship, I brought that culture with me. So even as I'm building my own business, Nazaru, a lot of and building our standards and processes, so many people have a problem with my standards, and that's their own problem. The way I say it is if you want to go to Harvard or Carnegie Mellon or a top school, you have to subscribe to their process. They're not going to change for you. Harvard would change for nobody, right? Carnegie Mellon would change for nobody, right? So I also give people permission. When I coach people in entrepreneurship, I give them permission to set their standards. Because when you don't set your standards, everybody will bring anything to you. So I set standards and I honor other people's standards. So when I step into spaces where it's His Excellency, I give it to them. Like His Excellency Ambassador Muchanga, right? I'll give them a bow, right? When I'm talking to ministers and people controlling government, I'm like, yes, sir, doctor, professor, I give them everything they've earned. They've earned it. So there is an awareness of what my own standards are, but we also operate in community with other people that are coming from different dimensions. So we also have to honor whatever it is they are bringing. Now, here's what I would then end with based on what you said. I teach and coach people how to operate within those standards. So you then get to also educate people how you want them to work with you. So if you're more laid back, you can let people know you're more laid back, and then they would learn over time, though, not the first interaction, because the first interaction is always what they're bringing, and you are responding based on who you are. But over time, when we build community, we all get to know each other. We all get to know how the spaces are curated. We all get to experience each other, and we then get to respect each other's expectation, and then we get to adjust. And human beings, we're adaptable like that. Like we know how to adapt, and I adapt a lot because there are certain rooms you see me operate differently based on that space and the protocol around those spaces. Or when I'm engaging with a CEO of a fortune company, oh, you bet I'm going to my email looks different when I'm sending out professional headlines and formal invitation letters to government official. You can bet that stuff. My late dad taught me how to write some. Tell it's as formal that the letter, the the typography and the Times New Roman and the even the letterhead and the where you put the dates and where you put the dear sir and their title and the headline reference this. My language changes immediately because of that space. So I just try to broaden this for other people listening as well, so that we don't judge. We don't get to judge where people are coming from, but we can get to know them and they can get to know us. And once we know each other, we can figure out the best way to engage with one another. I hope that helped.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Has actually been one of the most useful clubhouse rooms I've been to in recent time. I pop in and out, but at least I found a conversation that I'm interested in. So thank you, Tony.
Okay. Thank you for that because when I came on Clubhouse, I was running away, but I feel God was like, stay right there. But okay.
Oh, stay.
Stay.
You'll find your tribe. I think that there are certain people, obviously like me and others in the room, that enjoy these kind of insights and share. So please stay. Don't disappear.
No, no, no.
And
No, but part of awareness is that I do know that um the intensity that I bring to to the conversations and the types of conversations, right? It's in my mind, they don't happen on Clubhouse. I'm just giving Clubhouse a taste of it. But for example, my next event, December 4th, I'm hosting Nigeria Investment Conference. So we're bringing government stakeholders, da, da, da. Someone has told me, hey, Tony, why don't you invite somebody from African Union to come on Clubhouse? I say what again? No, sir. No, ma'am. Leave them where they are. All these conversations you guys are having on Clubhouse, a lot of it is heavily disappointing to me. I'll be honest. I'll say it out loud. Right? Too disappointing that I cannot vouch for, you know, what what is being said and done. I can curate my own space and host my own conversations. There are some spaces I will pop into and contribute. Like this Friday, I've been invited to a room, South African room, to speak. I will do that. But for the most part, I won't exaggerate. There's a good 98 whatever percent that, wow, I'm like, wow, you have such a powerful tool like Clubhouse, and this is the conversation we're using it for. And that's fine. That's okay if that's what people have, but I'm conscious of that. And that's why when we host intense investment summits, anybody that wants to be a part of that, you get to subscribe and log in, because people don't stumble in those spaces when we're having those elevated conversations. So I come on Clubhouse to say, hey, there's work happening outside of Clubhouse. Whoever wants to be part of it, you have to show up into those dimensions. And it's why I talk about networking as well. Like, social media hasn't done any filter for anybody, right? That's why people need to. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need to find your chamber of commerce, you need to find associations, you need to find communities and network. And most of it you have to pay for. You actually have to pay to get into that valuable spaces, right? Because there isn't any barrier of entry on social media. So if people are sleeping, spending 100% their time on social media, what I say is, you can't become a doctor on social media. You have to go into other deep communities that aligns with your goals. So again, part of the overall strategies, I show up on spaces, social media, for certain reasons, but I also host offline events, training, masterclass. Like next week, I'm actually teaching an entrepreneurship class at a business school. So I'm social media fits into particular strategy for me, but you can be rest assured it's just a fraction of the work that we do. And that's why I try to encourage other people to have your own strategy, know the types of people you want to connect with, have a mission that you're trying to achieve, and make sure you're investing yourself to grow. If you're investing in those relationships, those deep relationships, and they oftentimes they are not on Clubhouse or they're not on social media. At least that's been my experience. um I see comments coming in from actually YouTube. There's a the expert says there's a protocol for each space. I agree. Yes, that's what I found out, and we have to abide by the protocol. So when I'm bringing in, for example, African Union Commissioner for Trade and Industry to my event, OMG, the what I have to go through to actually get someone that represents 55 countries. Oh my God. And I'll go through it, right? That's why if you want to apply to Harvard, if Harvard tells you fill this form, write this letter, you don't get to tell Harvard why now. No, you don't. You just have to follow their process, right? And there is a protocol. There is a protocol. You have to honor that protocol in order for you to extract the value that you're looking for. And I have lots of stories to share. Lots of stories from towing the headline you put. You need to change that headline. Our office do not no longer have responsibility for what you put in that headline. So even for the ambassador to come, you have to change that headline. I was talking to the advisor. It was like, we are not going to respond to that heading. So I said, okay, what heading should I put? What is advise me? Okay, advise me. I didn't know that. Right? That heading has been outsourced. It's now Accra is now responsible for that. We've decentralized. Da, 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 da. Okay, tell me. He said something generic, economic development. I said, I will change that letter. Just tell me what you need. Right? And that's what I do. So I listen, you learn, you build relationships for people to advise you, to guide you. Ultimately, why? for your own, so that you can achieve your own mission. So everything that I do is mission oriented, goal oriented. Like I said last night, it's like, one of our key government network member was like, Toyin, have you heard? President Buhari has just appointed so. I said, I did not know. Tell me more. He sent me the flyer. He says, so the person you used to work with before, no, we need to invite this new person. I said, yes, sir. And he said, here's the phone number. Here's the phone number of this new appointee. Invite them. I was like, yes, sir. And immediately, even me, I sent a message. I said, good morning. Good morning. You know, the consulate of Nigeria said we should contact you. Right? So anyway, protocol. And your network, the value of your network is making sure that it can move for you. It's not enough for you to just know people, that they would move for you. Like, if I need to connect with anybody in the world, do I have people that will bring that phone number, that would make that introduction on my behalf? Have you invested in such? And vice versa. Vice versa. Like yesterday, someone saw a flyer I put out there for director general, blah blah blah, that is speaking, and the person had the audacity and said, Toyin, can you? I was like, no, we are not at that level yet where you can extract value from me. I didn't say it that way. I didn't say it that way.
That is so interesting. Repeat that again, because I have an issue with. So it's so fun what you're saying, because I so agree with you. Because some people just feel that they can just come and just knock on your door and ask for certain things. So explain what you meant by that again.
Okay. See, I'm putting my business out there. What I mean is someone that I know and he knows me. Okay. And there's history there. Saw a flyer of one of our executive speakers, IHOP government rank, and the person had the audacity to casually put a note and say, oh, can you, give that person my number? I'm like, no, we are not at that level yet. Like, in my mind, right? I'm being honest in terms of, in my mind, it's no, you don't deserve that, right? Our network is not deep enough. You've not contributed to my. Okay, I'm putting my business out there. But I give you the reason I'm sharing this is I'm also giving you permission to, based on your own judgment, to support other people, invest in other people, but also say no when you feel like that person is not deserving. And it's always a judgment call. It's always a judgment call. There are other people that I would gladly do such for. But in particular, I smiled. I think I sent the person an emoji. I was like, try again. And I moved on with my life, right? But we still have that relationship going. But based on my judgment, is not the person I will introduce to that person. Is not.
Yeah, I
and
get what you mean
and
by
it's a
that.
judgment call. Say I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's just a judgment call, because every time you make an introduction, your reputation precedes, right? That person will be received based on your introduction. So when anybody introduces anybody to me, the reason they can introduce someone to me is because to them I've demonstrated that I'm worthy, and I will not misuse the opportunity that was created for me. When you don't believe somebody can hold that type of integrity, you don't put your name on the line for such, right? So part of our responsibility is to become that person. We want to become that person that other people can invest in, right? That other people can vouch for, and other people can open their network for. We want to be that person. We want to be reputable. We want to protect our brand such that, right? You know, what I said the government official did for me yesterday, that's not his first time, right? And every time they do it, I hold it in such esteem, right? And they know, because our platforms, brand commits their platforms, and they relate with us. Why? Because they perceive that we would keep the integrity of who they are, their office, their brand, and their business. And when other people haven't demonstrated that, you shouldn't be investing, you shouldn't be throwing your pearls to people that will just take that same pearl and rubbish it in mud, which is where I say it's a judgment call. It's a judgment call at the end of the day. Is if I'm making an introduction for you, or if I'm bringing you into a space, a certain type of space, is because based on my judgment, I know you will not abuse it, right? That's a judgment call, right? And I have tons of story of, I mean, like 2018, of people being exposed to investors and everything, and even one of our family friends like getting, people derive a lot of opportunities when they come into our spaces. But at the end of the day, would they keep the integrity of that space, or would they just go in and mess things up? And you know what I'm saying. So that's why I call it a judgment call. And I see the expert says it makes complete sense. Reminds me of the information you shared about partnerships. Yes, you've been following me. You're a follower. Because I've talked before about how to establish partnerships. The framework. Don't just jump on anybody coming saying, "Oh, let's partner." No, no, let me get to know you. We only do business with people we know, like, and trust. So until we've established those two, three things, we're not moving, right? So anyway, so it's been amazing. This has been great conversation. Like I shared, I was trying something super new today, connecting my live audience on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has enjoyed. I'm more of a LinkedIn person, but in recent times, in recent weeks, I've learned more of Clubhouse, and I'm finding ways where I can merge those two worlds and we can all experience each other together. So I'm still learning. I actually didn't ping people in on Clubhouse. I just let people naturally come in because I'm testing this out. But hopefully every Tuesday, because Tuesdays are when I go live on LinkedIn. This actually saves me time, because not only would I be previous to now go on live on LinkedIn, then maybe on a Friday go live on Clubhouse, but now I can merge the two and give it a one punch, right? LinkedIn and Clubhouse together, and then YouTube as well. Yes, yes, I spoke with you on Clubhouse when I was in Liberia. I'm back to Dubai now. Okay, give me your name. Your YouTube. YouTube is showing you as the teacherpreneur. So you said yes, I spoke with you on Clubhouse when you were in Liberia, but now you're back to Dubai now. So awesome! Thank you so much for just following the discussions. Any other thoughts? Oh, Alexis, let me welcome you officially to the stage and just hear your contribution. I was just about to start wrapping things up, but I forgot. I need to get used to managing different things. So, Alexis, welcome to the stage. Let's get to know you, please. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. You actually kind of addressed the things that I was coming up to the stage to talk to you about, because I have linked with a number of people on LinkedIn and in other networking events, and it just hasn't panned out. And I'm not sure if it's the approach or what people are looking for per se, but it just hasn't panned out for me, particularly in getting employment opportunities, because that's basically what I was networking for at the time, just wanting to get a sense of what's available to me, being somebody who has a lot of experience but doesn't have a master's. And right now, just to give you a quick rundown of what I'm doing, I was actually applying for law school last year, and I'm applying for law school this year, and I have about 10 years of mostly entry-level position titles, but not entry-level experience. And I've been trying to get to a point where I'm not just doing entry-level work. I think I'm at a point where I could be doing things in the managerial level, and I've been told that before, but I just haven't been given that opportunity. So I've been connecting with individuals who are in the places that I would like to be, particularly like international law, or folks who are working with domestic violence, and those types of parts of the social services and law industries and policy, and it just hasn't panned out. And I'm actually in a position right now that I am ready to go, and I just started there. So I would like your thoughts on that, if you would.
Yes, yes. So if you're absolutely, so if you're on LinkedIn for job search, you need to quickly do an audit on your profile. Your profile is really your resume, because before you start reaching out to people or connecting with people, you have to know that every single connection, they're going to pull your profile and they're going to quickly do a scan, right? So if you're in a job search or you want to connect people from an employment standpoint, the most important thing for you is to do an audit of your profile and the type of language you use on your profile, making sure it connects. You want to make it extremely sticky. When I say sticky, is that when I read it, without even talking to you, if I read your profile, I must know who you are, what you're capable of doing, and what you've done before. And you must write it with such strong language that I'm so wowed that I'm like, I need to talk to this person. That's really what you first have to do, is audit your profile. And your profile has to have a very strong, because you have to know you're competing with, like, because I used to do interview and hire and do all of this thing when I was in corporate, in management, all of that. Like, you're in a sea, you're a needle in a haystack. When people, but you want the people looking for very top talent. So for us in corporate, like, I've always worked with top, like, Fortune companies. So depending on who you're targeting, if you're targeting the best of the best, you can be rest assured that they are also looking for the best of the best. So if you're a top performer, companies are also looking for top performers. They're not looking for average. So you cannot have an average sounding profile and expect them to approach you as a top performer. It doesn't work that way. The same thing is even true in entrepreneurship. You have to use strong words that commands the attention of people, and they're like, this is the person I'm looking for. So that's really the game changer at the end of the day, because no matter where you apply in today's world, they're going to look up your profile before they even reach out to you. So even your LinkedIn profile is even, it must even, in a way, recruiters are using it as the validation of your resume. So when you submit a resume, they will still search for you on Google before they even invite you for an interview. And when they search for you, guess what's popping up? Your LinkedIn profile. So they'll still look at you. They'll look at the companies you've worked in. They will look at what other people have said about you. So the second thing you want to do is get other people that you've worked with before to put in some recommendations for you on LinkedIn, right? So there's a section below where people talk about recommendations, right? Have your previous supervisor or people you've worked with before, or your colleagues, say something nice about you, right? So it's not just, oh, this is who I am, I'm this, I'm that. Let other people also do the talking and say, oh, I enjoyed working with her. She's such a this, she's such a. Recruiters will take that seriously. They take referrals very seriously. They take recommendations very seriously. So those are two things that I know I mean, it's the game changer, because I'm sure you're always getting these statistics that people viewed your profile. So if you're always seeing that, 10 people view your profile, 50 people, you can know that people are viewing your profile. The key is they're viewing your profile, but what are they walking away with? What impression are they walking away with? Does that help?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, I have had different variations of my profile over time, and I've worked with somebody who has helped me kind of figure out how to enter information. So, you know, it's how to present myself basically. But yeah, I just keep getting the same, like people just keep pigeonholing me in case management, and case management, there's no growth in that. And I've done it before.
Yeah.
But those are who I get recruited for. And I just like, are you not seeing that I'm
No,
doing, you know,
see,
community engagement?
no,
Like,
no, here is what's happening. You get you have the power to tell people what to call you. So they are picking up that signal in some places. So if people come to you for case management, it's because you somewhere along the line, your resume or something on your profile, that is a strong area that they see. So if people are coming for you for A and you want them to come to you for B, that's where you have to rewrite something, because people don't just come to you, they come to you based on the information you've put out there. You understand? And the information from what you're saying, it feels like you're stronger in a particular area, and that is what is attracting them to you. And what you're telling me now is that you want other people. So in a way, what you're saying right now, you are attracting the wrong people based on what you've written on your profile. If you want another type of group to be attracted to you, you've got to build something into your profile, a language into your profile that says that I'm interested in this. I'm prepared to, like, you have to, because people don't just come out of the blues and start coming to you for case management. It's because they saw it on your profile and it jumps out as a strong skill set for you. So they are coming for what they saw, right? So if you want them to see something different, you have to adjust what you're putting out there. Mhm.
okay. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
In the meantime, I'm gonna prepare for law school because I'm over it.
Yeah, this is a principle that is true whether you're looking for a job or you're an entrepreneur looking for a customer or a client, because I teach entrepreneurship. So let me also, for those entrepreneurs watching, Kalbalaji, I see your name. Thank you for putting, yes, nice to have you. So for those who are entrepreneurs, this is one of the biggest struggle. You may have the best product in the world, but if you use the wrong language, the wrong marketing language, the wrong messaging on your website, it will not convert. So what we just talked about in job specs and all of those things, in entrepreneurship, we talk about conversion, right? Your funnel and your conversion, right? No matter how fantastic your product is or your service is, if you don't use the language that your customers and your clients recognize and appreciate, you're bringing the wrong people into your circle. So when it comes to marketing and sales, strategic marketing is important. And one of the things I tell entrepreneurs to invest in is copywriters. So writing to inspire or writing to educate is different from writing to sell. So if your website is not converting, you need to invest in copywriters, because the way the brain works in terms of sales and conversion is different from when you're inspiring people. So it's something I keep learning. So because I'm a writer, I can tell you that just because you put words you slap words on a website or on your profile, it may not it may not touch anybody's heart or head, right? And you want to connect with both. Even if you're working with, if you want a recruiter, you have to share a little bit of yourself, because everybody is human. Your success is dependent on human dynamics and human relation, right? So you can look good on paper, you connect with their head, they're like, yes, this person is intelligent. But then, something you said might be like, is this person a nice person? Right? Is this person good? Will this person perform? It's because you've not connected with the head and the heart. So you do it with writing. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I know entrepreneurs are also watching this. So that's it. Any other thoughts or questions? It's been really great. I'm learning a lot from this format. So I'll see what I can do to keep merging these two worlds together. Any other questions before I wrap this up? Awesome. Okay. I think we kind of I enjoy the effect of this is what Clubhouse does. Very deep. It's like the conversations on Clubhouse are deeper. Like if I'm doing LinkedIn alone, I do 30 minutes and I'm done. But Clubhouse is like there's so much richness and depth to that conversation. There's a question. Oh, you said you like this option. Please do this again. I'm here. She said I'm more on YouTube. So yes, I'm multicasting YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then now I'm introducing Clubhouse to this engagement. So thank you. Was the sound good? Because what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a playback. I want to test out and make sure people could hear. I'm probably in the future, I'm probably going to get a stand for my phone, or I'll make it sit down and do something anyway. So yeah, this is just my first time of merging these two worlds. So thank you everyone. To learn more about me, please go to toyinmesiri.com. Three people come to me for three different things, like I said before: entrepreneurship, trade with Africa, inspiration. And I'm finding the inspiration as well. I'm finding new spaces to bring that about. Yes, the sound was clear. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It's a wrap for today. I have a couple of announcements. So events, trade, trade summits coming up, trade and investment summit coming up December 4. Please check out my Instagram and my LinkedIn. I have updates there. Investment summit. I'm teaching a class next week at Joseph Business School. So I also teach at business schools. I find that when I speak at a business school, the people are more hungry. Why? If they've paid so much money to learn, they demonstrate so much more appreciation for what I have to do than social media. That's another thing I've experienced, is that they've paid, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars to enroll in a business school. So when I show up, they're like, Tony, yes, give us more. I'm like, social media people, did they really? Anyway, was it 2 weeks ago I spoke at University of California, Berkeley, and the group there, it was at an entrepreneurship class. The group I spoke to actually flew in from Paris. So they it's a cohort from France that they came to California to learn about entrepreneurship. You can see how invested they are to learn. When I came in, my experience was incredible because they squeezed value. I mean, the conversation was so rich, and I was like, Toyin, you need to be investing in these spaces more. So I'm going to be spending more time in business schools, teaching more and all of those things, because it's the love is mutual. Like they are hungry. Not that other people are not hungry. There are other spaces like my trade network and my academy where I teach, but I'm just feeling a difference, a different type of hunger and a different type of flow. Because when people are hungry and they want what you have, there's just a deeper connection there that I'm experiencing. So I'm still exploring that. So I'm going to be investing more in such spaces. So next week I'm teaching. We're in November already. So next week I'm teaching entrepreneurship and international trade as well. And then what else is happening? Yeah, my coaching. I also have a group coaching that is now open for diaspora registration, and then one-on-one. You can learn everything, toyimesiri.com. And if you want to learn more about the Trade with Africa side, it's nazaru.com and nazaru.trade. So much going on. Every day there's something new happening. So thank you again. I'm going to play my outro video now. For those who follow, they know this as well. So bye. God bless you.